Oh, Veritex, I've been at 508 subs for like 3 years. What's going on, everybody? My name's Stuart Davis, flawed man of God, here to talk to you guys today and sharing this fellowship that we have, and always, always love hanging out with you guys and discussing what's most important. That's God, right? God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, gathering together as brothers and sisters in the faith, to read through His Word and react to it. Um, we we will do that. Not just me. I will read it. You will hear me. You can always put me on mute, right? You will hear me, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a say as well. The chat is open. You are welcome to it, and not just welcome, encouraged. I want to hear what you have to say about it. Okay, this is a place that I created for us to do precisely that, precisely that, and just have good fellowship and a good time while reading what's most important, right? And I'd like to welcome you all here. Now, this is not a denominationally specific show, right? I'm non-denominational. Some call it evangelical, um, but this is not a place where you have to be of that persuasion to chime in. And it doesn't mean that you have to be ecumenical about it. You don't have to say, "Oh, well, we agree," right? There should be some understanding of faithful camaraderie here. Um, there should be some level of faithful support of each other, not necessarily about tradition or denomination um, or whatever it is, right? But support in faith in the Lord, right? And doing that. And look, me, I'm not an expert. Try to make sure that I get this out of the way so that everybody understands. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I am not the smartest guy on the block when it comes to, church history, um, you know, understanding Greek, Hebrew, any of that stuff. I'm just here. I've been a Christian all my life. I can offer you the 40 plus years of experience I have in that, and walk through it, right? And that's part of the reason why I want to hear from you guys. It's nice to hear different perspectives, and this is your opportunity to offer yours. But it's also your opportunity to listen, and not to us, not to anybody who necessarily disagree with you, but to the Lord and what He is saying, right? And with that said, everybody, welcome. How was your weekend? No, seriously. Hope you guys' weekend went great. Hope you guys were able to have a good message at church. We said goodbye, or actually more like congratulations to one of the pastors at our church. He retired this week. I am sure he will be preaching eventually once more. He will join the he will join at least one or two retired pastors at our church, and just glad to see a career well done. And he went out on a great note talking about David and his legacy, leaving his legacy, setting things up and passing things on, passing the torch, and just glad to see it. So happy for you, Mike, and congratulations, and with all the you think you look back and you see all the sermons, all the messages that you've shared, all the baptisms um, you've conducted, right? All the counseling, all the grief, all the prayer. It's a lot of work. It's a big body of work, right? And glad that we were glad to see people faithfully do that, because look, there we need to cherish the good ones that we've been blessed with, that the Lord is blessed with, because there certainly are folks out there who are not as diligent, who are not as faithful, and who are not as worried about humility and preaching the truth. A good preacher is one that is worth their weight in gold, more so. because of way more so actually when you think of what they provide and how they lead, and people that I say this on my show, right? If I spend 10 years doing this, right, getting halfway there, it feels like. But if I spend 10 years doing this, and the only person that I helped lead in to the faith is Nico, it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. One soul is worth a lifetime of evenings spent discussing the Lord, right? Outside of the idea of this being a way to honor God, right? And help each other out. But like I said, it's something that's beyond appreciation, and the value of one person. And you put that, you match that up with a career that has done, way more than me, way more faithfully than me, and a much better attitude than mine is. I'm inspired by that. I am humbled by that, and I am more than that thankful for that. Thankful for him and for the Lord who given him to us. And I feel like that about every other good and diligent faithful pastor, that passes through our lifetimes. And I've had the pleasure of knowing a few. And so that's great. So again, once again, congratulations. Well done. Hope you enjoy your retirement. Look forward to seeing you probably on the Wednesday breakfasts that we partake in, that sometimes I'm able to make it to. But yeah. So that was us, right? We're going to be making some changes to the show, at least for the summer. Probably though, moving forward, I'm trying to fit life, try to fit this show into life. And so one of the things we're trying to do is, be able to do things that I need to do and spend enough time with family, but at the same time, continuing this passion I have, this what I'll call a ministry of sorts, and being able to spend time with you guys. Some of the stuff I want to do is be able to take my son to the gym, get myself there, and get myself healthier than I currently am. And when do I have time to do that? Especially in time when it involves my son, who is in school. Not right now, but he's of school age, and he has to be in bed by. I mean, this would be one thing where it's like, okay, well, we normally wrap up the show 9:30, 10 o'clock, sometime somewhere between then. Go hit the gym after that. Cool off, go to bed afterwards, right? Well, I can't take him to do that because we can't be out till midnight, right? That's not how that works. So, trying to fit that time in, we are going to try switching to a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday stream, and see if that can be a good schedule, where I can continue this, because I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. I love reading the Bible. I love everything that goes on with us here. I love it, right? That's why I continue to do it. And I think it's important. But that's just part of trying to fit things in a more intentional, diligent way. Not just intentional with you guys, which is what I try to be that. But also intentional with things that I need to be doing and ways that I could be serving my family. So that's what we'll get into that. But I want to start that this week, and we'll see how that goes. I've got time off coming in the next few weeks, in the next couple of months, summertime. Spend that time out there while everybody's out of school. It's good, but that's a little bit for the housekeeping. Meanwhile, Veritax is first, 508 subs. Like I said, I've been at 500, just over 500 subs for a while. Always looking forward to the next bump that will, at times I feel like probably won't happen because I'm just not good at marketing. I'm not good at chasing the algorithm. I have this thing that I do, and if people are led to this, that's great. But I'm not going to try to give in to histrionics and coal posting or any of that other stuff that did, rage bait or clickbait people hear. This is something I do take seriously. I think that there are grifts and hustles that I think are fine, right? But when the faith is concerned, I think that there is a measure of honesty, integrity, and seriousness it needs to be taken with. And one of the things I can't stand, and y'all have heard me talk about this, are people who just chase it for clicks and attention. But and that's their decision to do that. I don't think it's very smart. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it does much to grow the kingdom. I think most of the time it's pointing inwards and and encouraging infighting. But what do I know? Right? I'm not an expert. Anyway, spirit was moving through your body last week into Sunday. Excellent. If anyone thought the Lord God Almighty had taken 2026 or the summer of 26 off, think again. A lot of answered prayers, but not personally, but for others in our congregation recently, and the spirit in bearing one another's burden as a body really built into Sunday's message. Well, good. I'm glad to see that. Matt Felty is here. Good evening as well, sir. Jenny ELJ is here. Woohoo! Said Matt Svelte. Said, I have conflicts most Wednesdays, as you know, but here and grateful for your time and study facilitating whatever your schedule is. I appreciate you and your family as well, Matt Felty. And hopefully the Friday you'll be available. I mean, obviously you're here on Mondays most of the time. Mondays and Fridays will be a good time. Eventually we might, as things slow down and I need to start actually prepping because I'm not going to be reading scripture forever. It might turn to a more freeform topic Fridays, but that's ways from now. So we'll see how things go. But I love you guys. I'm glad for each and every one of you who tunes in. And not for the likes or not for the views. Don't care about that. I mean, it's great, but that's not the purpose behind this. What I'm grateful for is your fellowship. What I'm grateful for is your participation and your love for the faith and your love for your fellow Christians that motivates you into being here. And I'm glad that I can facilitate that in whatever way that my presence here does. So, what else? What else? I don't know. There's a lot of goings on. There's a few current events that have been happening, but we're just not going to cover that because it hasn't been on the forefront of my mind. Though I will say this is like because somebody talked about Steven Crowder, some Steven Crowder news. It's like, why are the frustration of so many folks who are given a platform or blessed with a platform and cannot cannot get out of their own way, cannot work to deal with their demons and their vices, or even just not create new ones, right? And you guys have experienced this with me, with things that with people we've both been fans of, folks that we've both thought had some modicum of respect for, and many of them just show it's like, why? It's like, are you guys just is everybody just a clout chasing attention uh monger, I'll say. But I mean, really, but let's put it, an attention whore about this, because there's a desire to be popular. And I get that, and I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but it shouldn't compromise your values, right? But I feel like so many people have already compromised their values to get where they want to get anyway. I don't know. It's just frustrating and disappointing every time you see it happen. And I wish the best for these people, even people who act in some of the most scummy ways, even people who have disappointed me. I pray for them. Um, it might not be new or something he did, it's something that I didn't know about him, and I don't feel like getting into it. But it's just what is any of them doing this time, right, man? And I feel like, and part of me, wants to check myself and go, well, you don't want to piety signal this. You don't want to, look down on anybody. But at the same time, I'm like, how are you guys this debauched? How are you guys this degenerate, right? You guys are old enough that y'all have made these mistakes. You should be at the point now where you're moving past this, where you've identified a problem in yourself and you're working to move past it. Right. And that's not just him. This is all the folks in any sphere, right? It's like you're old enough to know better. What is this? Some sort of midlife crisis or something? I don't know. Like I said, it's just disappointing. And I feel, and maybe I don't know. I don't know. I can't be the only one who goes, man, all the stuff that these people do are weird. Why? Right? But I don't know. I don't know. All right. So we've been in Hosea and we are wrapping up Hosea. And then oh no, we still got a couple more nights. So 9/10s tonight, Wednesday, and then Friday, we'll wrap up Hosea. Cool. And then we'll move on to Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Wait, am I missing somebody here? Where's Jonah? Oh, I said Jonah. Oh, Jonah before Micah. I was like, we've got to be in here somewhere. We're getting into a part where we're going to have some really short books. Like I said, Hosea's 14, Joel's 3, Amos 9, Obadiah 1 chapter, Jonah 4 chapters. Why did they do this to me? There we go. Micah 7 chapters, Nahum 3 chapters, Habakkuk 3 chapters, Zephaniah 3 chapters, Haggai 2 chapters, Zechariah 14 chapters, and Malachi 4 chapters. Some of these books will be done in a day or a week. So we are on a slide after Hosea, we are on a slide down to the end of the Old Testament. We will be likely, in my opinion, out of the Old Testament by the end of the summer, Lord willing. And the schedule me being able to be diligent to the schedule. We'll see. We shall see. But we are going to be in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John very soon. So I think we are well past the halfway mark. from the Bible and overall, but that's just from a geographical perspective. Uh, we will see how long. I will be interested to see how long it takes for us to get through the Gospels, particularly because there's just so much there, right? And I'm interested to see how going through Paul's letters is going to be, because and then obviously Revelation's going to be wild. Revelation's going to be wild. And then, and then after that we'll go into the Apocrypha, and then I want to, once we've read that, then we'll start deciding what are we going to do as far as do we want to do some deep dives into martyrs in the early church? Do we want to start getting into early church fathers? Do we want to go into church history as far as just the goings on? There's some rich stuff to be covered there. And I might have to go reread through some of the more historical books that I have read through, talk about do a deep dive into the Reformation. One thing I think that a lot of people on both sides of that get wrong, right, and misunderstand each other, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. I think there's a lot of distrust that stems from that, and there's a lot of bad blood that's literal blood. The Reformation was a bloody thing on both sides, and both sides wants to point fingers at the other. And I think that looking at it in hindsight, but reading through it in the history, it's like it was very much going to end this way, just because of our own human nature and our inability to take care of things the way that we should, our inability to try to fix things and work together as brothers and sisters. It's mostly brothers in this case, but we just can't help it. We just can't help ourselves, and how we really need to make sure everything's exactly the way that we think that it needs to be, instead of having some humility that maybe things are right, or maybe something's not so important that we can't give a little bit of leeway on. And also, when given that leeway, we don't run into the ocean with it. So anyway, that's a long diatribe out to talk about the longer plan for this. I was just thinking about it. That's like, man, Hosea, we're going to be going with that to the week, and then it's just going to be boom, 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 boom. Jonah might take a little bit because Jonah's got a neat little narrative there, but we'll see how things go. All right, let's get into the reading tonight. That's the important part. The reading tonight. Let's read into our Lord and hear what is said in Hosea chapter 9. Ephraim punished. Remember, Ephraim, that's usually when Ephraim's mentioned, it's talking about Israel. Israel, not Judah, because Ephraim's kind of the capital. Samaria, I think, is part of Ephraim, and that's the new capital of Israel, since Jerusalem stayed with Judah during the time of the two kingdoms. All right. So Ephraim punished. Do not rejoice, O Israel, with exultation as do the pagan peoples, for you have played the prostitute, turning away from your God. You have loved prostitutes, earnings on every threshing floor, attributing the harvest to the Baals instead of the God. And look, we're in Hosea. What is the whole point of this? This is God just outright saying is, as Gomer is to Hosea, you are to me. And you don't even get me credit for being the one who protects after you. You're giving all the credit for the stuff that happens to Baal. Baal? How many times do we have to prove him to be either non-existent or nowhere near as powerful because he's the demon. How many times did they have to take the L? Doesn't matter, because we're not chasing righteousness here. We're chasing our own desires. What do we want? I would rather give into what feels good. I would rather give into what benefits me, or what I perceive benefits me. I would rather be financially successful than spiritually wealthy, right? I would rather do this. If that involves behaving how I want to sexually, if that means defrauding my neighbor, if it means doing any of this stuff that we're not supposed to do, I'll come up with an excuse for it. And the easiest way to excuse it is to tell everybody it's not actually wrong. Bale doesn't have a problem with it. Bale celebrates this stuff, right? It's June, right? This is the time where the progressive folks who pretend that they're Christian like to tell us what they think God says when he doesn't. So the threshing floor and the wine press will no longer feed them, and the new wine will fail them because they have failed to honor the God who provides. It's like, yeah, okay. Again, we've seen this before. This has been reported, and a lot of times it's talking about the same time. God saying, you're not going to give me credit. I'm going to not do it for you. So there you go. Let's see what Baal can do for you now. Looks like Elisha. Is Elisha or Elijah standing before them? They're like, where's your God now? What is he doing? Is he tired? Did he go away for a nap? Has he been on a long trip distance? Maybe he's in the bathroom, right? This is God saying, oh yeah, let me pull this out. Let me pull away my blessings. Let's see how Baal supports you. Deadbeat. Baal's deadbeat. As soon as God leaves, Baal's going out for smokes and milk. Right? And he ain't coming back, and he ain't paying child support or any of that stuff. They will not remain in the land of the Lord, but Ephraim will return to another Egypt in bondage. They will eat ceremonially unclean food in Assyria. Yeah, you're going back into slavery, which they do. They will not pour out drink offerings of wine to the Lord. Their sacrifices will not please him because they don't mean it. They don't mean it. It's all empty. It's all done because either we're like, well, I guess we had to go through the motions here, or, I just do it because that's what we're supposed to do. It's more tradition than faith at this point for this. Their bread will be like mourner's bread, eaten at funerals, and all who eat it will be ceremonially unclean. For their bread will be for themselves. It will not enter the house of the Lord to be consecrated. What will you do on the day of the appointed festival and on the day of the feast of the Lord when you are in exile? For behold, they will go away because of devastation and destruction. Egypt will gather them up. Memphis will bury them. Weeds will take over their treasure of silver. Thorns will grow in their tents. There you go. That's what, again, yanking that blessing away. This is what happens, right? And yeah, you're not ceremonially clean just because you go through the motions. There is a level of faith, and this is, I've been seeing it a lot lately because it's always the argument of faith and works and whatever. Faith is more than just belief. Faith is more than just saying, I believe that Jesus exists. That's not, faith is, I believe in Jesus, not I believe Jesus is real. I believe in Jesus, who he is, what he stands for. I believe in the truth. I believe in it. I stand by it. And because, and just as a natural effect of my belief, I behave in that way. Right? It ends up being such a thing. It's such a thing with words, and it does end up becoming. And I don't like how, the stick to it is like, oh, works. The works is that okay. Doesn't matter what the rest of the world knows. It doesn't even matter if the church knows about the works, right? Your priest doesn't necessarily need to know. God needs to know the works. God will understand the works. right? Because he knows where it comes from. He knows what's meant by it. And we see that here with the food offerings and everything. And if you ask people who are Protestants, who are, you sola fide, right? That's what they believe. And guess what? For many Catholics, they believe the same thing. And sometimes it ends up manifesting differently. But, we have to yell at each other about it. Whatever. Yes, thorns shall be in their tents. Yeah, it's bad enough that you see them outside. Golly. Got thorns all over the place. Been doing a lot of yard work recently. I'm trying to clear out some of my land. Taking down trees, cutting up trees, cutting out wood, holly bushes, thorns on vines. Scratch my legs up. Don't want that in my house. What did it say? Thorns will grow in their tents. There you go. The days of punishment have come. The days of retribution are at hand. Let Israel know this. The prophet is considered a fool. The man of God who is inspired is treated as if demented. Because of the abundance of your wickedness and guilt, and because of your deep antagonism towards God and the prophets is so great. It's like, yeah, prophet is here. Let's see, Hosea is a good example. Here to give you knowledge, give you words from the Lord. And you're going to say, oh, that guy's just an idiot. You don't listen to what he says. And he's like, no, he's crazy, man. He's crazy, man. Nobody cares. Let's throw him in a well, Jeremiah. Throw him at the bottom of the well. We don't want to hear what he has to say. You are so upset at God. You're so angry with him. Or you're so antagonistic towards him because you like Baal better. You don't like all these rules, all the rules, right? You don't like all these rules that keep you in line and keep your life righteous and wholesome, or at least, bouncing somewhere, trying to be in that wholesome and righteous place. You don't want it. You don't want it. You'd rather feel good for a little bit, for a brief moment. You'd rather feel good at your neighbor's expense, right? That's better for you. Ephraim was a watchman with my God, a true prophet to warn the nation. But the snare of a bird catcher was laid in all his paths, and there is only deep hostility in the house of his God, the land of Israel. They have deeply perverted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. The Lord will remember their wickedness and guilt. He will punish their sins. God got them member berries. Heaven Ridge Farm remembers. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. Member berries. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness, an unexpected and refreshing delight. I saw your fathers, ancestors, as the first ripe fruit on the fig tree in its first season. But they came to Baal Peor and consecrated themselves to shamefulness, the worship of Baal. And because of their spiritual and physical adultery, they have become detestable and loathsome as the thing that they love. Wouldn't you feel that way too if your spouse was doing that? Maybe some of y'all have experienced that yourselves. How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about the other person? How do you feel about your spouse? Right? And now think about that. If there actually was no part, nothing to blame by yourself, because God is blameless in everything. We choose to rebel. We choose to disregard what's right. And that's what Israel's doing. And God's happy to see this. He sees these people that say, oh, yeah, they're so good. And then he sees how they act. Then you turn around and do this. Do this. Do the thing that you hate, right? Meanwhile, God's blessing this land. As for Ephraim, their glory will fly away like a bird. No birth, no pregnancy, and because of their impurity, no conception. Even though they bring up their children, yet I will bereave them until not one is left. Indeed, woe, judgment is coming to them when I look away and withdraw my blessings from them. Ephraim, as I have seen, is planted in a pleasant and prosperous meadow like Tyre. But Ephraim will bring out his children to the executioner for slaughter. Give them the punishment they deserve, O Lord. What will you give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breasts. All their wickedness, says the Lord, is focused in Gilgal. Indeed, I came to hate it there. Because of the wickedness of their idolatrous practices, I will drive them out of my house and the land of Israel. I will drive them out of my house, the land of Israel. I will love them no longer. All their princes are rebels. Ephraim is stricken. Their root is dried up. They will bear no fruit, even though they give birth. I will slay the precious children of their womb. My God will reject them and cast them away because they did not listen to him, and they will be wanderers, fugitives among the nations. There is a punishment. There is a consequence for this action, right? And then again, this is how we see consequences can befall people as a result of others' actions. Your actions can create consequences for other people. You go drunk driving and you hit somebody else, they're paying the consequences for your actions. We have to be mindful of that. So many of us, we think that, oh well, if I'm wrong, then I'm the only one who gets punished for it. No, other people do. And Israel had a great number of there is not righteous people in Israel as a general rule, but the activities of the fathers, right, the men, the husbands who should be setting the example, trickling down to the women and the children, corrupted an entire culture. All right, retribution for Israel's sin, chapter 10. Israel is a luxuriant and prolific vine. He produces fruit for himself. The more his fruit, the more altars he made to Baal. The richer his land, the better he made the idolatrous pillars. Oh, yeah, so the more I gave you, the more you did the wrong thing. Nice. Thank you. Yeah, you think this is not ticking God off. You think it's not brewing anger and resentment in the Lord, right? There was a covenant. There was an agreement here. God does care about us outside of the covenant, and that's the real thing. If God didn't care about us, if God was mean and spiteful, as so many of the Reddit atheists like to make it out to be, God would have smote us immediately. He would have smote Israel immediately. The first generation after Joshua's, done, right? Could have done it on Mount Sinai even. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities, right? But he doesn't. He has more patience. He gives us leeway, right? He forgives us. He gives us grace. What do? We take advantage. Keep doing it. Their heart is divided, faithless. Now they must bear their guilt and punishment. The Lord will break down the horns of their altars. He will destroy their idolatrous pillars. Surely now they will say in despair, we have no true king, for we did not revere the Lord. As for the king, what can he do for us to rescue us? They have spoken empty, disingenuous words, swearing falsely to make covenants they intend to break. I am just apologizing so I can get out of punishment. God knows that. God can see it. Therefore, judgment springs up like poisonous weeds in the furrows of the fields. The people of Samaria will fear and tremble for the idolatrous. Hold on. The people of Samaria will fear and tremble for the idolatrous calf of Beth Aven, house of wickedness. Indeed, its people will mourn over it, and its idolatrous priests will cry out and wail over it. over its glory, because the glory of their calf god has departed from it. Eat more chicken. The golden, or I guess in their calf, more dove, more quail. It's quail. I think it's quail, guys. The golden calf itself will be carried to Assyria as a tribute to King Jareb. Ephraim will be seized with shame, and Israel will be shamed of its own counsel to worship the calf and separate Israel from Judah. Yeah. Yeah, you could have been a good example. Instead, you are made out to be the worst example because of your own behavior, right? As for Samaria, her king will be cut off and float away like a twig on the surface of the water. Also, the high places of Beth Aven, the sin of Israel, will be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle will grow on their pagan altars, and in despair they will say to the mountains, cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. Yeah. O Israel, you have willfully sinned since the days of Gibeah, where they, Israel, stand. Will not the battle against the sons of wickedness overtake them at Gibeah? When it is my desire to defend my righteousness, I will chastise them, and hostile peoples will be gathered against them. When they are bound up and punished for their double guilt, their revolt against the Lord, and their worship of idols. Yeah, because that's what you did. That's what you did. Ephraim is a trained heifer. Cow. Ephraim is a trained heifer that loves to tread out the grain. But I will come over her fair neck with a heavy yoke for hard field work. I will harness Ephraim. Judah will plow, and Jacob will harrow and rake himself. Jedediah does the dishes, and Jacob plows. Fool. I was kidding. It is Amish paradise. I will harness Ephraim, right? Oh, you're lucky. You do some mild work. You're used to being blessed. Well, guess what? Hard labor, going to the gulag, out to Siberia with you. So, with a view to righteousness, that righteousness like seed may germinate. Reap in accordance with mercy and loving kindness. Break up your uncultivated ground, for it is time to seek and search diligently for the Lord and to long for his blessing until he comes to rain righteousness and his gift of salvation on you. Seek it. Seek the goodness for goodness sake. You have plowed and planted wickedness. You have reaped the willful justice of oppressors. You deserve this. You have eaten the fruit of lies because you have trusted in your own way and your chariots and in your many warriors. Your own chariots, Israel, your own warriors didn't win those battles for you. God did. God did. Gibeah is well known to the Lord. Gibeah is well known in the Bible. Are you looking for something more specific, Matt? Therefore, an uproar will arise among your people, and all your fortresses will be destroyed. As Shalom destroyed Beth Arbel on the day of battle, when mothers were dashed in pieces with their children. In this way, it will be done to you at idolatrous Bethel because of your great weakness, or your great wickedness. At daybreak, the king of Israel will be completely cut off. Footnotes here, Jeroboam was the king who established the worship of the golden calf at Bethel, later known as Beth Aven. Yeah, again, yes, that Jeroboam. The same Jeroboam that was given, half the kingdom of Israel, and God told him flat out, it's like, look, if you do the things that Rehoboam wasn't doing, and you're diligent and righteous towards me, dude, you'll be successful forever. If you choose not to be, you'll be doomed. Jeroboam chose poorly, and Israel, again, Jeroboam's choice and Israel's overall lack of fidelity, consequences for their actions. How many people were led astray? Jeroboam setting the example that he did. How many people paid the price for that? Anyway. Is give you a well-known 12 is instructions. Oh, yeah. 12 is instructions. Yeah. That was the plan, right? This was the plan for Israel, the one kingdom. This was the plan for or the idea behind the Israelites in the promised land. Live this way. But you can't. And maybe that in and of itself is a demonstration of how fallen we are. Something to contemplate. All right, y'all. That's our reading for tonight. Matt Felty, Jenny, Veritax, the chat, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your likes. Thank you for sharing this with anyone you think might be able to might benefit from it. But thank you for your input, guys. Thank you for being part of the. I could use a shave. You could use a shave, Serranos. I like it this way. Coming up on haircut time. I'm starting to feel like a hippie. But always grateful for you guys. It's an honor, right? And same for you guys who are not in the chat. Those who either can't or don't want to be in the chat, just know that you have an open invitation. That if you do ever have the opportunity and the compulsion, that it'll be welcome, and I will read it. Right? The rest of the chat wants to see you here, but I get it. This might not be for you, or might not be in the cards for you, so to speak. It might not be your situation right now, but I'm glad nonetheless that you have chosen to come back here and continually consume this content, despite my poor reading skills. Anyway, and everybody who is catching this on replay, right? Thank you for watching. Sorry I missed you. Hope to catch you live sometime soon. Everybody have a great night. I'll see you on Wednesday. Do this new schedule, see how it works out. But that's the plan, and we will continue in Hosea. Everybody have a good night, and God bless.